we discuss. The Trump administration managed to upset all sides since our last episode. While the Epstein list went up in smoke, the One Big Beautiful Act sailed through Congress. They signed it on July 3rd in the Oval Office in front of their Republican friends. I think it was Trump's version of a white party. All this winning must feel great. The WNBA has increased in popularity. There are more eyes and scrutiny on the sport. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe they shouldn't have invited us to the party. Then we close things out with the Robinson Report.
Welcome to My Mic Sounds Nice, a freestyle conversation about health, relationships, and culture. As always, this is Tim, one of your hosts. Always glad to be in the building. Let's get it.
My mic sounds nice. This is Kev, aka Reggie Jacks, coming from the Bronx. Glad to be here this morning.
My mic sounds nice. This is Aaron, aka A Love, in the house. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning, man. Let's get it. Let's get in.
All right.
So there was a whole lot going on, so we're just going to jump right in here real quick. So we're going to start off with Epstein.
You running the show, bro.
Running the show. Epstein it is. All right. So back in the day, for the past 7 years, the collective we, not me, the collective we has been demanding this client list for Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender. The Trump 2.0 administration, they've been clamoring about it all before the election. They're like, we're going to get to the bottom of this. They come in office, they search high, they search low, they search near, they search far. And then they come up with the final report that the list doesn't exist. Must be true, because who could doubt this administration, right?
But the issue that we really want to discuss, we are not here to talk about Epstein per se, but we're living in a time where I think the feverish interest on this list is because whoever is on it, there is this large presumption in this real space that we've created that if you are on the list, you are guilty, and you're guilty of the most heinous actions imaginable. And we wanted to discuss, led by A Love, that feeling is not limited to just this list. That feeling and that sentiment is something that seems to be permeating through our culture. We really wanted to talk about that because then that could take guilt by association to levels that would reach you personally versus some billionaires list.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that the list obviously would have some very bad people on it. And as Tim said, the three of us, we want justice. We want people held accountable. That's the world we live in. But I, as a person, am always concerned about the innocent, because the one innocent is represents the whole of society. So if there are people that may be innocent and their lives can be destroyed, that is troubling to me. And it's troubling because, as Tim began to enlighten us, it translates into the larger society. And right now there is this fever. We saw it in the Puff trial. Yeah. We saw it, we were seeing it with Jeffrey Epstein. And as heinous as the things that Puff did, there was, I might say, more than 60% of things reported weren't true. There was no drugs in the baby oil making people, to succumb, so just things like that are dangerous when we have this fever to say, hey, you're guilty, you're wrong, you're bad, and forget Jeffrey Epstein, forget Sean Combs. You see it on YouTube, you see it on Twitter, you see it in cancel culture. And I think we're at a really dangerous place as a society.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think about it, I know I may or may not have associated myself with people that I should not be with. I definitely have been in the car, even as a college student, with people that I shouldn't have been in. Coming back to DC, and just because I was with them, I wasn't doing what they were doing. I wasn't involved. I definitely was not involved in their activities, but friendships, grew up with people, end up driving back to DC, and all of these things. And you can't. It's kind of one of two minds, because one of the things I would say to my son for years, like be careful of the company that you keep, right?
Without a doubt.
And I would say the phrase, like, you don't see pigeons hanging out with a flock of flamingos, which are called the flamboyants, by the way. But, so and so so like there is someone, like the people you associate with, the types of people that you hang out with, are the things that you will tend to do. But that still doesn't mean that you did those acts. And I think we definitely have to be careful. But one thing, when we talk about guilt by innocence, I started thinking about, how sometimes they use innocence by association also. If I try to associate somebody with a certain thing, if I try to associate Mom Donnie associated with Brad Lander, proof that I'm not, and that I'm not anti-Semitic. So it kind of it plays in both ways.
Are you talking about that person that says, "No, I'm not racist. I have a black friend"?
Exactly. Exactly. Like we think of it in one way, but it also kind of permeates society in the other way. At least when people try to do it.
No, I mean, it's definitely, there's a lesson in there, because even scripture wise, it talks about corrupt company spoiling good habits. And Kev, when you mentioned the car, I think one of the most impactful scenes in the movie is Trey getting out the car. You know what I mean? That, because that would have been a matter of association. In Boys in the Hood, where it's like they not only him getting out, the fact that they let him out, and then it was like, yo, you shouldn't have been there. But Aaron,
can I? I'm gonna jump in real quick.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I had a similar situation like that driving around Queens.
I know you did.
And
John Singleton just didn't tell your story.
and I wasn't strong enough to get out the car. Now luckily we ain't find them. My thought was, I get out the car now. Now what I'm gonna do? Like, I got.
Yeah, that's true. You got out of the car in Queens. You don't live in Queens. But really, what we're just covering is just this notion of a rush to a blanket judgment, and you are ignoring the nuances. And I really feel, and you could definitely close this segment out. That was really what I took away in you wanting to discuss this, because it almost is like we are vultures for guilt and becoming pompous and self-righteous, but we would never want that turned on us. Like, when you think about what you like, what you post, what you say about other people, would you want that about you? Because I feel like social media has created the space where we become prosecutor, defense, judge, jury, bailiff, reporter, sketch artist, and stenographer, and that could just be really, really dangerous. So what say you, A?
I would just ask the world out there, to show grace, and when we have evidence, hold them accountable. But until we have evidence, we should be cautious in pointing the finger, and that could be your neighbor. And hey, did they drop that empty soda can in front of my house? If I didn't see him do it,
they did it.
Or something, more heinous, where you could ruin a person's life. And the reason that I wanted to use Epstein as a jumping off point is that this would most certainly ruin an innocent person's life.
Yeah.
And I just don't know that every single person who ever went to that island did something. Now, maybe that's true, but let evidence prove that out.
Yeah.
Not your assumption, not your fever to see the rich fall, to hold them accountable, to even the playing field. And I think sometimes we see that, like right now, when we have all this wealth disparity, I do think that the common folk like us are much more or less tolerant in dealing with the rich, and we want to see them get their comeuppance. And there's a good reason for that, but that isn't helpful for us to behave in a way that isn't honorable.
I mean, a perfect example is, when you're talking about Puff, right? And if they said that everybody that's been in the hotel room with Puff has been involved in, in those shenanigans, in those alleged shenanigans, we've all been in a hotel room with Puff. And and we definitely were not involved in any of them shenanigans.
And everybody had their clothes on.
But this is the benefit of him changing his names, because I was with Sean and Puff. I wasn't with Diddy.
That's a fact.
Yeah. I've never been anywhere with Diddy.
I've never been with Diddy. I've never been with Love.
I've been around P. Diddy, but not Diddy.
Yeah. That's a fact.
We didn't do Diddy. We didn't do Diddley with Diddy. So, but don't rush to judgment. Get your facts straight. Show some grace, because especially with our young people, everything is being recorded now. So, and what Kev said to his son is something you do gotta pay attention to the environments and the spaces that you're in, because sometimes you won't have the opportunity to even explain your position. You won't have the opportunity to say, my intentions weren't this. I didn't know that this was even taking place. I'm in one room chilling at the party. Now, I don't know what's going on behind that door. That's not my interest. But then if something happens, what's the presumption? Everybody was at that party with that intent. So pay attention to your pivot, and if the list ever comes out, it'll come out. And,
and hopefully those who deserve to be held accountable
will be held accountable, and those who were victims, that they will get the support that they need, because that's the last thing I'll say. We know there were real victims. Yes.
A lot of victims. We know there were real perpetrators. A lot of perpetrators.
Yep. But I think we want to know who did it.
Yes.
More than we want to help those who have
really
done to them.
Yes.
And I think that's the key. That if we was to shift that energy, and less help, less support, less love, we'd be looking for a different list.
And to your point, Tim, there was somebody that passed away. One of the victims committed suicide, I think in March or April. And and I think she's one of the people that testified. Whenever she's in her 40s, and it's just interesting. There's more energy about this list than the real life devastation of the people.
So
then the question is, the last thing I'll say is, because Tim just dropped a nuclear bomb. The question is, how righteous are you really, if you think that way? How honorable are you really being, or are you really just thirsting for blood?
Just trying to destroy people. They're not trying to build up people or rebuild people.
And speaking of that outro, let's go to the 3 Bs.
The one big beautiful bill act.
Trump's big beautiful mess.
Trump's big beautiful bill. Yes. So after pushing and forcing people for months, creating an arbitrary deadline of 4th of July so he could celebrate his 4th of July in his fantastic White House Oval Office white party, he gets the bill passed
with the flight with the jets over the top.
With the jets over the top, they were dancing to. Was that YMCA they were dancing to or something? They were dancing to some song.
Something like that. They was turned up. I mean,
And that is one thing that we've again learned over and over. If you never learn this, people, beauty definitely is in the eye of the beholder, because this bill stinks.
Yep. Yep.
it stinks. It stinks for most, but sometimes what stinks to some is fragrance for others.
It stinks
Yeah.
for
So-
most, yeah.
Do
So
you want to see?
yeah, go ahead.
All right. Okay. Hold on. Well, keep talking, and I'll bring it up.
We need visual aid for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, the way that it got passed is also an indictment of the state of government where we are at. It made me like, yo, do I need to go back and watch Schoolhouse Rock? I'm just a bill, because this joint got remixed. It's like, and then just kind of this feeling of the waiting to see what's going to happen, and the trickle down effect, and one thing I think we all have to get past is this feeling of only being moved when it affects us directly or personally. I think understanding that people hurting are people hurting. So we got this up. And so here, just even the headline, Trump spending bill brings changes to student loans, taxes, and Medicaid. Here's when they go into effect. I mean, one thing I know, they were advising people now to make sure if you're in college that you register for 15 credits, even though full-time is 12 credits. But I believe the Pell Grants and financial aid now are going to be triggered by 15 credits.
And then there's a lot of technology in this bill. The expanded child tax credit, right? They're increasing it from what's that, 1,700 to 2,200. However, you can't you don't get any deduction. The refundable portion remains at 1,700.
So here for the tax year 2025, filers earning up to $500,000 a year can claim up to $40,000 in state and local tax deduction on their federal tax returns, up from the previous $10,000 limit put in place by the Tax Cut and Jobs Act.
And
So-
the 10,000 was just to hurt places like New York and California, Maryland and Jersey. Those states, those places where high real estate taxes.
Yeah. So, but now this is for everyone.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The crazy thing, they took away EV credits for a brand new EV car, which I think was $7,000 or $7,500
Yeah.
for a brand new car, and maybe $4,000 for a used car. They took away if you improved your home.
Yo, we're closer to the senior bonus tax credit. Nope.
Yeah,
Don't scroll quickly through that.
Energy efficient home improvement credit. They took that away. Which I was about to try and use. I still may try and use it. I got till December 31st.
Get it cracking.
But let's talk about that for a second. Why would any government, why would that be on your hit list? Let me remove any clean air credits in behavior. Why would any government remove that? It's just,
I mean,
obviously punitive. It had nothing to do with law.
I mean, your budget is what you believe. Like, where you spend your money is your beliefs.
Yeah.
But I don't, Kev, I don't feel like that. Like you pointed out, that was just to hurt California and New York and New Jersey. Like, some of this is punitive.
I agree with that, but they don't believe in climate change. They don't believe in the impact. They don't believe that burning oil, that burning coal is going to have,
any impact on the weather and
that's fine, but it's still stupid because.
So then that's how you're spending your money. Not only do they not believe that, they think windmills are ugly,
but
they think solar things. So I'm saying that this is their beliefs, man.
All I'm saying is the reason I have a problem with that argument is forget believing in clean energy. When you have solar power or these things, they give back to the grid. They give energy back to the grid. The grid is failing in certain places. It gets taxed in certain places. So it's an overall, forget if you don't even care about clean energy.
I think,
but also where it's happening.
I'm gonna say, I think to your, this is a situation where both of you all are presenting logics that make sense. But the truth of the matter is that I think this government is in a position of being so bent on get back, bent on undoing anything that they didn't do, that they're willing to hurt themselves to complete the mission. I mean, because
that was my point.
Yeah, because and that's a dangerous place for anyone to be, but it's especially a dangerous place to be if you are in leadership. You think about some of these cuts to health and to SNAP, and even though we think poverty and we've been given the propaganda lens that is black and brown, but mathematically it's hurting more white people than us. But they don't care. There are millions of Trump voters that are in the line of fire based upon this bill, and they don't care.
I mean, the majority, the health outcomes, the large areas of Medicaid. I forgot they showed the guy in California who voted for the bill, and I think they said like 50% of his constituency, or 50 or 60%, a very high number, was on Medicaid, and and they're all in the line of fire, and yet nevertheless he voted for this bill. I think the one thing, you wrap this bill up and you take a look at it, all of the positive things, like for the wealthy, happen immediately. Tax cuts 2025. No tax on tips, that rolls in 2026. Like all of the bad things don't come in to play until after the November 2026 election.
So it comes in after the midterm.
After the midterm. So when Democrats most likely take back the House, which is what happens in off-year elections, then people are going to be looking at them. I mean, it's just, this bill represents where we are as a society, where we're going to do everything for the wealthy, when the majority of people who are not wealthy have to pay in and support the wealthy.
Yeah. And just as a point that I don't want our audience or even Kevin to think that I don't agree with him about the philosophy of them spending their money on the things they believe. And I think the Medicaid work requirements is a perfect example of that. They're increasing the work requirements of 80 hours a month.
I'm reading it right here. It says Medicaid, which provides health insurance to those with low incomes, will introduce new work requirement rules effective December 31st, 2026. Beneficiaries ages 19 to 64 who apply for Medicaid or coverage through an Affordable Care Act expansion group, I didn't know that they were connected, will have to work at least 80 hours a month to be eligible for benefits. Qualifying circumstances such as certain medical conditions or dependent children ages 14 and under may exempt beneficiaries from the work requirement. States will also need to recertify beneficiaries' eligibility every 6 months rather than the current annual review policy.
And do you know how, extensive I shouldn't say extensive, but it's a lot of paperwork to fill out.
And so now you moving forward, you'd have to do it twice a year as opposed to once a year.
Yes. And they say states, but I would assume that they would mean the Social Security office, because that's where you've always gone in the past to certify anything. And those buildings have been, we know those workers have been, let go. The lines are longer, things are more difficult. So in all honesty, this is a low-key way of you're gonna end up having some people not on Medicaid.
Yeah,
they're gonna fall through the cracks and all of that.
And then I saw something that, because it was like, okay, how does this affect us? That, to your point, okay, if people don't go through the certification process, they drop off, they have health issues, then their health insurance becomes going to the emergency room, they're not paying. Okay, well, now those losses get passed on to higher rates for those who have health insurances that pay. So somewhere down the line, it's going to impact all of us. So this is that example of, well, this isn't me. It is, because we have to see how things are impacting us as a society. And just because you and your personal family may be good, all it takes is one moment of something to happen, and you are right in the thick of everything that other people are standing up and making noise about. So,
I'm looking at some of the things around education, how they lowered the limit for people for graduate degrees. You can only take like $20,000 a loan, and they cap unsubsidized student loans at $20,000 per year. $100,000 for a lifetime. For professional degrees, you're capped at $50,000 per year, $200,000 for a lifetime. Now you're not getting no professional degree for $50,000 a year. if that's the loan,
you're barely getting an undergrad degree at some university.
And
the lifetime borrowing limit $275. I don't know. Knowing these jokers, probably now. No. Actually, knowing them, that might start next year. They eliminated Grad Plus loans, capped parent borrowing for Parent Plus loans at $20,000 per year, and a $65,000 lifetime limit. Now, I say that these are things that help raise society, raise you up, change income levels, which supposedly would add more income, more tax paying, more thing. These are positive building things that they are tearing down.
The society building.
Now, it's two things. Yes, loans are definitely can be a problem. Loans have been predatory. You could either choose to fix the loan process, fix how they give it, make sure that they're giving it to kids that actually have a chance and do those types of things. Or you can say, you know what? We just make it more difficult for you to get loans, make it more difficult for there to be tax incentives and benefits for you, and just make it more difficult. It's telling. It's telling. It's who they are.
I really encourage the average person to not just let this be a news story that you hear and then you move on with your daily life, that you actually sit down and look at. You're not going to be able to look at the bill. The bill is what, 900
something pages.
Yeah. No one in Congress has read it. Only the lawyers in Congress read it. There's not a congressman alive.
They had it. I think they had it read out loud.
Yeah.
On the floor.
Yes,
as part of a stall tactic or something like that.
But no congressman, in all honesty, has read that bill. But they know the parts that are important to them. But my point is that there's enough credible media sources out there for people to look up the things that matter to you. So if you're on Medicaid, if you're on Social Security, if you want to buy EV soon or whatever, you're on SNAP, whatever, you just need to look at
getting ready for your 2025 taxes.
Yes.
Because also, because sometimes without knowing, it's not only not knowing how to prepare for what's coming down the pike that could negatively impact you. There's also some things there that you can take advantage of. And in a lot of instances, getting put in the LLC on your side hustle so that you can get some of these corporate tax breaks. I mean, it goes both ways. And I'm not saying that to diminish what is negative, but just further emphasizing. And I would even say have conversations with people that you trust, because it's impossible for you to process this all individually, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to have this conversation here. I mean, because yes, there's a lot that brings the three of us together, but where we are in our lives, there's certain things that we're going to be more knowledgeable of that we should share, so that you're not responsible for knowing every piece. And so we just grow together.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just end it with, your vote is important, and whether you voted, whether you didn't vote, who you selected, whether you vote or not, we get the leadership we deserve. And this is the leadership that the overall America deserves. And how you like that?
Yes. Well,
basically.
So BBB is not Big Beautiful Bill. It is bounce, 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 or bounce basketball.
Basketball. So now
basketball.
We're in the middle of the WNBA season. Women's basketball has great big resurgence over the past couple of years. Started in college. Well, I guess two years ago, started in college with Caitlin Clark, going through the NCAA, going crazy. Then she does the matchup with Angel Reese in the championship game, Iowa versus LSU. Angel Reese wins. Angel Reese goes all Baltimore on her, talking trash, giving it back, pointing about her ring. And people were in horror that there was trash talking on TV. The White House wanted to invite the loser to the White House. and all
new
types
things, new things. Let's invite everybody.
Yeah, let's invite everybody. Piled on Angel Reese. That's classless, even though she was doing some of the same things that Caitlin Clark was doing in previous games. But whatever. So now, all its eyes and attention, and this comes into the NBA, to the WNBA. Now the WNBA record profits. Oh, not profits yet. Record revenue. They're selling out stadiums. They're getting great views have gone up, and it's just brought all these eyes and attention. The problem is the eyes and attention belong to us, and we are not the people you want.
See, so, Kev, are you saying all likes are not good likes?
All likes are not good likes.
all stories are not good stories?
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark has become one big race war.
Yeah.
And it reached a crescendo this week. Angel Reese was put on the cover of the new 2K. The two men and a women.
2K26.
2K26. It's was it Carmel Shea?
It's a triple cover. One cover is SGA, NBA MVP, NBA Finals MVP, kind of representing the now. There's another cover that is representing Carmelo Anthony, part of the incoming Hall of Fame class. So it's kind of a back in the day representing now. And then the third cover is highlighting the WNBA, and that is featuring Chicago Sky's, Baltimore's own LSU Angel Reese.
Yes.
I mean, it's very interesting because Larry Bird and Magic Johnson was 1979 in this nation, a different time in racial energy. A worse time. well,
no, I got you.
Yeah, and where I'm going is right where you said, and there was the undercurrent of that rivalry. There was a racial undercurrent to it.
Oh yeah.
With the Boston Celtics and the history of Boston. Not that Larry Bird and
take it back to Indiana State and Michigan State.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's where it started.
That's what I was saying.
But not that they necessarily had anything to do with it, but there was a societal undercurrent. But the basketball remained the most important. Fast forward, what was this, 50 years? 40 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and you have that same racial undercurrent. It's almost like you're watching Larry Bird and Magic play out again, except for Angel Reese. Arguably, you would say is not as talented as a Magic, for example. But society is behaving worse about the racial components to to this scenario, and it's actually disappointing because if we've supposedly moved on in society, we shouldn't have people like RG3 taking a post with 600 person that had 200 followers or whatever, and you repost a picture of Angel Reese as a monkey on the 2K cover. So that's disheartening for 2025 for me. But I will say, even in all this muck, it does help the WNBA grow.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah,
You know,
it get. But I mean, to your point, it's a once again, we have more tools as a society to amplify our true heart's position. And the reality is, it has not changed. They just didn't have Photoshop in '79. They didn't have social, like everybody's voice. It was probably the conversations at the barbershop and on the corners that now get taking place on X and IG. And then you got to ask yourself, does the fact that these are women play a role? Because there still is the different, the bravado, the bravado and energy of the man is celebrated. A woman does that same thing. And then if you're a black woman, I mean, that's a whole nother show. But yeah, so those are the things that just play a role. But for us, it's really just wanting to just reflect on coming up, and even what you were saying, how with Magic and with Larry Bird, I think over time they played a role in keeping it focused on basketball, and so hopefully that same thing plays out. But like you two have been part of following the WNBA, I'd say longer than myself. I'd say my connection to now paying attention to WNBA games was watching what took place in college. There was a stretch where it was just UConn and everybody else. And at some point that wasn't entertaining. Like that wasn't bringing ratings, but you got the South Carolinas, you had the stretches of Notre Dame, you even had North Carolina pop up, and then when you had LSU and Iowa, I feel like that to me has brought a freshness or new eyes into the WNBA, because you get to learn and know who they are. Whereas I feel like in the men's game right now, these young people are coming through so fast. Like we just watched the draft not too long ago. I might have known, honestly, 5 players before they got drafted. I mean, and I'm being serious. And so whereas with the WNBA draft, I knew more of them from paying attention to the tournament and just seeing, like, oh, I've watched you in college. Like, okay, a Flau'jae Johnson, who is still at LSU, but it's like, yo, I remember you as a freshman. I watched you. I watched you grow. I don't get to see that with the men's game. Prayerfully, Juju gets to come back full tilt. Remember her when she came in. Paige, we was watching Paige for 5 years.
Yeah.
With
Paige was Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark.
Facts.
Sabrina Ionescu was Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Kobe Bryant's best friend in the female game.
And still is, if you remember, with the All-Star game performance against Steph Curry, what it took to beat her.
Yeah. So, that's a beautiful point. So, you think about it. So then it almost becomes you got to have the nemesis. Like Paige didn't have a nemesis.
Yeah, that's largely what it is. And
UConn was viewed as a machine, but if you want to say, as you said, skill of player, Paige.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I love the UConn years. personally. I loved him. I love seeing him go undefeated in the season. To me, that was incredible. But I'm kind of on a Monica McNutt train where
Who's
the
dope?
WNBA,
She's so dope.
due
Like-
to she's so like she's on point.
Yes.
To because the league has shrunk the number of teams, the quality of competition in the WNBA, the skill level in that league, it's better than probably any basketball league in the world in terms of your peers. You know, you can have guys in the NBA that are making it that are trash. In the Euro League, there's somebody at the end of the bench that is trash. In the WNBA, either you bring it or you don't make the team. As we were talking about in our pre-production meeting, first round draft picks are not guaranteed to be signed. That's you can't name another league in the world where that's a possibility.
So there's no Ms. Irrelevant in the WNBA draft like we got football. There's no Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised they have 3 rounds in the WNBA draft.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you're not keeping 3 people.
And what did that say? That says that the value of I don't need to invest in this person because there are other people around at my disposal that I can bring on this team. So I don't have to hold on to a first round draft pick like it's gold.
Think about what was the player on Chicago? Kennedy Carter, was it?
Shanae Kennedy.
Yeah.
Shanae Kennedy.
Yeah.
What
she's not even in the league.
Yeah.
She averaged like
Shanae
19
Kennedy,
as a rookie. Yeah. She's balling out last year. They bounced her.
She has had problems in the locker room with teammates, and even though she's a bucket, for our audience, I'll say this: she's like a J.R. Smith, in terms of a bucket getter, but she's not in the league right now.
And it's the second time being bounced from the league.
Yes.
But I had a question. You know how recently Caitlin Clark was ranked for the All-Stars by the players ninth best guard in the league. And then there's a narrative saying that the players are jealous of Caitlin Clark and they're not treating her well. That's why she was ranked so low. And then Jemele Hill came on and she explained like the players, they can only rank their 4 best guards. They can only rank the top 4. And because they only ranked the top 4, that's why Caitlin was dropped down to 9th. Because she hasn't been playing well. Thank you. It hadn't been playing well and all this. So what are your thoughts around people saying that the players are jealous of her and treating her poorly?
I think there is an undercurrent of the players feeling like, yo, we've had this dope product here. We've been busting our butt. We have a quality league. We've built the league up to the point of when you get here, you can take it to the next level because we've laid the foundation and we've got the league turned around in the right direction. Because if Caitlin Clark comes around in 2012, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the infrastructure of the league isn't there. The direction of management isn't there. So I think there is a little resentment with some of the players like, yo, I've been building this foundation. Yeah, I'm glad that you painted the house this beautiful blue, but I did something. So I think there is a truth to that for some players.
I agree, and just as you were speaking, and I'm just going to mention Paige Becker again, because to your point, there's the stages of growth, but how do you honor those who laid the foundation? I think goes a long way in how those foundation builders will appreciate and embrace. I think some of the undercurrent of jealousy and feelings towards Caitlin is misdirected because they're really upset at society and media writ large. Because even when you talk about Monica McNutt, at times she has been bold enough to check the Stephen A's and some of the other people where it's like, okay, when did you start doing WNBA stories?
Yes.
And this product has been here long before it made it on Get Up and First Take and other things like that. But society doesn't want to give the same amplified stage to a Paige, because when she speaks, she always respects the architects. When she speaks, and she makes it racial. She refers to Black women. Like, I'm not here if it wasn't for them.
Yes.
Caitlyn ain't saying that.
No.
And whether that, and she's young. I'm not going to sit here as a 57-year-old man to be like, you should say this, is that, and the other. But I am observant enough to know what message gets amplified and what message kind of gets EQ'd, where we kind of thin it out.
She gives thanks to the architects, but she doesn't go into the Black women that built
Caitlyn.
this league. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I put it like, to me, I think that there's jealousy. I obviously no one
resentment
would like
or jealousy.
Resentment. But I think that I think what happens on the court is just basketball. She's seen as a great player. These are athletes. And you coming in front of me, I'm doing all I can to try to bust your behind. Or I'm not going to let you do that. Like, everybody. And I think that men are not accustomed to watching women compete in this way.
Yes. And that is a very physical league. That is always has been.
And it makes us uncomfortable. We don't know how women compete in ways in the shadows and things that we don't see, in ways that would horrify us. But we just don't get to see how they get down as little girls, or how they get down as teenagers, and what they do growing up in the process. And I'm saying we're like just stuck in society where it's like, oh, that's not ladylike how they're doing it. Oh, they're playing rough, or oh, they're hitting her, and all these things. Everybody gets hit, jostled, knocked like that. That's the way that the league plays, and
they honor competition the way it should be honored.
They're athletes, and they play hard, and they don't have a problem with it. Yep. And they pick each other up for the most part, something that men don't do in any sport anymore.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think the league is in a healthy place. I think eyeballs on the product is what's important. I always know there's these trolls out here, these red pillars on the internet, who always want to come after the WNBA. And you can always tell that they're not watching the game, because they're like, oh, the game is trash. I'm like, you can't be watching WNBA games and you say that, because it's not.
I mean,
unless you value playing above the rim more than anything.
A perfect example is they talk about Angel Reese can't shoot. She misses all these layups, or Angel Reese's shooting percentage is the same, if not a little better, than Caitlin Clark after 2 years in the league. And she's shooting better than her right now this season.
Yeah. For me, I can't believe that Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark get compared in any way, shape, or form. Like, I would never compare Carmelo Anthony and Sherman Douglas, or any point guard. Like, why? I know that they play the opposite teams, but they are not. They don't play the same position. They don't do the same things.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be compared.
Not at all.
I remember Marcella Qualley was like, oh, Caitlin Clark is averaging more assists than Angel Reese is averaging points. So what? I don't care. Especially when Angel Reese's primary role is a defender and rebounder.
And
she's never going to be a great scorer.
And to your point, I think the competition comparison to me played out better in college because they both were the leaders of their respective teams. It was lightning in a bottle with Magic and Bird because Magic had the capacity to play all 5 positions. There was some of their attributes that was similar. I'm just giving those examples where, but people are forcing comparisons now that honestly show a lack of understanding and appreciation for the game itself, because it's like you don't do that. Where in the class of 03, okay, you had some Melo, LeBron, because they both were coming out and had some similar, but over time their game,
they were both wings.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's giving you something to, okay, let's begin to have the discussion. Like that would be having all out arguments between a quarterback and a defensive lineman.
And they're both leaders of the team, to your point.
Exactly. And so I think but this is the problem. It's to the point you can create a narrative to support whatever it is that you want to say. If I want to be dogmatic, if I want to put somebody down, I can create a narrative that sounds like it makes sense until somebody comes with a higher level of objectivity and understanding and be like, no, because the truth of the matter is basketball fundamentally is played better in the WNBA than the NBA, and I feel like that gap is widening. You know, but if we watch basketball with the ESPN Sports Center top 10 lens, then we're going to say, oh, well, the WNBA game is boring and this, that, the other, as opposed to if I just love basketball.
Yeah.
You know, and because here you could watch Summer League. We was watching Summer League yesterday, and she's like, what are these people doing? Like, it's turnovers and jacking up threes, and she's like, yo, you don't have the job yet.
Summer League looks worse than the Rucker.
It's like, yo, I mean,
worse than a dag.
I mean, why is this?
I'm not saying you wrong. I'm just like, that's a great comparison.
Yo, Cooper,
it's not entertaining.
Cooper Flag went 5 for 20.
Yeah.
It's like,
how bad did it look? Because I didn't see it, but I saw the stat line.
I mean, Cooper Flag went 5 for 20. There was another player on the team who I think had well over 20 points. He was cooking. But all of the interviews and the whole story is Cooper Flag. So it's like you're showing his highlights, but it's like, okay, like, yo, what are we doing here? And so
that's the whole Summer League, G League thing, where I think Gilbert Arenas was like, that's not the place to really develop your game. Because people go down there to get this. Nobody's trying to, like, you know.
Yeah, nobody's trying to play team ball.
Yeah, like who goes to
get noticed?
Who goes to Summer League to work on their assists? So, but you know, salute to the WNBA. This is the perfect time to start watching. And
All-Star game next weekend.
All-Star game next weekend. The baseball All-Star game is coming up. Wimbledon finals are today and tomorrow. You know, got a lot out there, but hopefully let's grow and you know, if you agree with us, rock with us. If you don't agree with us, still rock with us. You know how we do,
because we love you.
Yeah, so, definitely subscribe and like, you know, and if you don't agree with us, write it in the comments.
Exactly, and you know, write however you want. We're grown. We'll be all right. It is what it is.
And like and subscribe on all platforms.
Without a doubt, man. So what's giving us life, man? Where we
now
at?
It's time for the Robinson Report.
It's time.
What are those things that are giving you life?
Yeah. Who's going first?
I got a book.
You
want me to go first?
Okay. Are you angry or is it a good book?
It made me mad. Definitely made me mad.
All right, that's cool.
Well, we like that. Let's start with some anger.
Yeah, all right. It falls right in line with what's going on in this
Ooh.
big, beautiful act.
Oh, who
The
wrote this
book just came out last month. It's called Bad Company: Private Equity and the Death of the American Dream. An expose of private equity's devastating impact on American lives, communities, and the economy, by Megan Greenwell. And basically, it just talks about how private equity rolls up on the scene and destroys a company. Like how they rolled up, they bought Red Lobster, they extract all the value out of Red Lobster, they cut people, they take the property, they spin off the property into a separate business and then lease it back to Red Lobster, paying at higher rates to rent, higher rental rates or lease rates for these things. And after they extract all of the money out of it, they take their healthy profit and then they leave the company in ruins. It's what's destroyed Toys R Us, what's destroyed hospitals, and all these other things. And it's just it takes you through a couple of different stories of
These are all private equity firms that are doing this, Kev.
Yes, these are all.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, they repeatedly do it nonstop. Bain Capital, Mitt Romney was big in the game and doing this, and you know other companies continue on. And my son was just telling me yesterday that college institutions are putting more money or planning to up their level of investment in private equity, going from like 10% to 30%. Some state colleges and some other smaller schools. And it's interesting. He made the point. He said, you know, they're going to put this money into private equity. They're going to burn through these college. They're going to, make more money for their endowment, but the kids are going to graduate and there aren't going to be any jobs because the businesses have gone bankrupt. So, yeah. Great point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's great when you can see the world in a 3-dimensional way at that age. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
So for me, I have 2. And Tim, you mentioned sports. You forgot one of it. The Tour de France is going on right now.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah.
That's because I ain't ridden a bike since the public school era.
So Tour de France is, if you ride a bike, the greatest sporting event.
Now?
Yes, it's happening now. It's 3 weeks. So this is the end of week 1 today.
Okay.
So it's great.
How's the U.S. looking? Is there a team?
No, we got some riders. There's a guy named Quinn Simmons that came in second place day before yesterday, which is a good result. You got to remember the 180 people riding every day, so trying to win, and then you're on a team. Most Americans are not on a American team. We haven't had that since Lance Armstrong with U.S. Postal.
Okay.
He kind of ruined that
by going postal. Or my fault.
Yeah, exactly right. Yo, when the post office want to sue you to get their money back, you done met the post office. He said, "I want my money back." Like,
yo, that's crazy. Like that's bar talk, and I don't even drink. Like, yo, son, man, I'm getting sued by the post office.
Give me my money back. Like, yo,
like the red, white, and blue post office.
Yeah. Oh man, they paid me in stamps, but no. Yeah. So the Tour de France is on, so I'm loving that. And there's also a program called Tour de France Unchained, which is like Drive to Survive for F1. It's on Netflix now. It came out. So right now I'm in my Tour de France mode and I love it. I get to wake up every day and watch a stage.
That's what's
for
up.
3 weeks. Can't beat it. And my second one, which I'm not going to go into long because we have plans to do a deep dive, is the Clipse new album, which we are going to break down at a later date. So I'm not going to say anything about it other than it is bringing me a lot of joy.
Later date is in next week.
In next week, yeah.
So I figured if I say it, that would make us have to do it.
No, absolutely.
No, it's funny because that was gonna there's a song on there that was gonna be my Robinson report, but I was like, oh, I gotta switch it up. So that's what's up. For me, it's actually Ironheart,
Yes.
the Marvel television piece on Disney Plus. Vanessa and I, we watched the first 3 episodes yesterday, and some point this weekend we're probably going to watch the second 3.
Question, Tim, before you go.
Yes.
I've watched the first episode and it was a little slow, but what I've heard, and I plan to finish watching it, is that it gets better episode by episode. Is that true so far?
Yes.
In your opinion?
So far, yes. As far
And I heard
as
it's really good at the end.
for rate of story is picking up. But personally, I think you should watch it because it will challenge how we see heroes and what we believe.
Okay.
That because like, so you think about the Avengers and the Iron Man story and those things, they just seem to be so believable because it's comic books, because it's white propaganda, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You just don't even question it.
Yeah.
But I found myself watching with a hinge of like, how real, like could she really do that or this, that? But I never questioned Stark Industries, Captain America. And so I had to like, whoa, hold up. Let me watch this with the same
lens. That's a great point.
And that was me checking myself. So that's why I wanted this to be in my Robinson report, because the people were giving the show a negative view before even watching it, to the point where the actor, who's Iron Man, his name is slipping my mind.
Tony Stark?
No, the real name, his actor.
Downey. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, so he actually had been coming out and supporting.
Yes.
Not on her,
because she was getting a lot of,
because she was catching a lot of flack, and that, so that, but yeah, so definitely watch it. But to your point, it does pick up. Like each episode makes you want to watch the next episode. We would have kept going, but I was like, listen, I gotta do a podcast in the morning. I gotta go to bed.
No, so I asked that because I want people to stick with it.
Yes,
because I think I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't watch it," but the people that have watched it are like, "Yo, it gets better."
It gets better.
I heard it's really good.
Yeah, like it. And I will say this: the story gets better, because I don't even want to say gets better to the point where episode 1 is just trash. It just it moves, but it shows you genius, it shows you technology, and it's us. And so that's my Robinson report.
All right, fellas.
All right, one of the books. Yes. Everybody enjoy their weekend. Kev, get that 20 miles in. And do what you got to do.
Yeah, we're gonna try and ride tomorrow. Tried to ride yesterday, but it's cold. It's kicking my butt, man.
Yo,
I was like, yo, I'm gonna come.
And sidebar, because one of our, as we're wrapping up, because one of our pillars is health. There is I don't know if it's a new strand, like COVID is making a comeback in certain spaces. The church,
I need to be aware.
The church that I attend, like there's literally been like a small outbreak, and it's been hitting individuals who are older and who have pre-existing health conditions, as well as a strand of the flu. So just be mindful. Just make sure that you're paying attention to yourself and taking care of yourself. And if you're feeling sick, like don't endanger other people. Like those same rules apply. Like if you're feeling sick, stay home. But I just wanted to put that out there for us to be mindful and take care of ourselves, because sometimes when things aren't in the news cycle, we think that they're no longer an issue, and that's not the case. So we want y'all safe.
Nah, no doubt. I had 102 fever yesterday, man.
Yeah. So don't be getting Reggie Jacks. You're cold.
Yeah. Well, now that you say that, I'm like, is it a cold?
Stop.
Do I have something?
No, I said because my wife, she was congested, and she was saying it was from the yard, and then I was like, yo, I'm gonna get this COVID test. You taking this test? And thankfully she was negative. It's one of those things where you're like, hooray, I just got a cold.
Exactly, right? It's just a cold.
It's like, I got allergies. Yes. It's like, hooray for white phlegm. Don't let it be green.
Yeah.
Look at
you know how like when you was working in the job you hate, you get that cold, you be like, oh, bet I don't gotta go to work. Yeah, it hits different now. Now it's like no colds, no nothing, no surgeries.
And then also because now, man, at this age and stage, that joint stay with us, man, and the cough be just hanging. Like you feel better 3 weeks later and just have coughing attacks. Like, yo, weather is good. Like, so
my wife has that. She'll get a bug, and a month later she's still coughing.
Yeah. It is funny because we're all married. You didn't get into bed like, yo, stay on your side.
Yeah. Don't get me sick.
Like there's no snuggle. There's no hugging.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Right now at this very moment, I'm sleeping in the office because my wife is not feeling well.
You might have to do your couch routine. Stay out.
Yeah. So Kev, you're not going in there like Onyx. Back up, Onyx.
I come in there with a can of Lysol. Like, what you want, honey?
What you want? your tea's at the door.
Y'all slide the tray you, like it's soul food.
Yeah. Why your son is walking around shirtless and like I'm in perilous to pain. I'm Novocaine. I don't feel nothing. So
my shirtless child. Yes.
You're like one day you're going to feel it. So but that'll work, brothers.
Yeah,
so this is Tim. My mic sounds nice. Peace until the next time.
My mic sounds nice. This is Kev. Peace.
Yo, this is A from Strong Island, the best island on the earth. My mic sounds very, very nice. Y'all have a good day. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.